Welcome back to the graveyard, everybody. My name is Mads, and I want to quickly apologize for the fact that the video quality may not be what you are used to from my channel. I know it's never been perfect, but I am using my webcam right now because I'm recording this in Streamlabs. It's just easier for me right now because I've got my microphone all in one place and stuff. And I think pretty soon that's going to be my main way of creating my videos on here. Today's video is kind of a half and half type video. It's part my, Pride Month video for this year, and it's part just a where have I been catch up type thing. Because I haven't made a video on here since I did my Blackcraft cult one. I have had quite a few video ideas since then. I think I actually have a little journal made up on my desktop right now of potential video ideas. I just have not sat down and filmed any of them, and there's a couple of reasons for that. One is a double-edged sword. It's the fact that for the past year and a half, I have been absolutely working my ass off trying to get a promotion at work. It was going to come with a little bit of a pay raise, but it was going to come with a much heavier workload than I was currently used to. I was determined, though. I have always wanted to be able to provide more for my household. I know that my wife sees it differently. She's like, no, it was wonderful having someone here with the cats all day long who could take care of them and make sure they were all right. It was like, you always get so much done on our graphic novels that I can't get done going to a 9 to 5 and stuff. So we were able to, make our art business really grow a lot faster than most people can because you were home working on stuff when I couldn't be. And I love the fact that you keep the house clean and stuff and organized and make sure that things are tidy and old stuff's getting thrown away or donated like you do a lot. And that's true. And I don't want to like take credit away from myself or any of my accomplishments in my household. But when you feel like one partner is a primary breadwinner and you're not bringing a lot in financially, it can come down on you kind of hard sometimes, especially given the fact that I am a disabled person. I do require medical devices and services that cost a lot of money sometimes. And then I feel bad because I'm like, well, I'm not bringing a lot of money into the house, but I'm sure as hell taking a lot out of the house. And again, even though my wife has never once made me feel bad about this, I felt bad about it. I want to be able to contribute more. I worked really, really hard. And at the end of May, I finally got it. And immediately I was catapulted into this world of working a lot more hours than I had for years now. I hadn't worked a full-time, like 40-hour a week job since maybe 2014 because that's around the time that a lot of my medical issues really, really ramped up more than they ever had in my life. And my doctor even said it is dangerous to your health for you to be going to a 9 to 5 now. You cannot be doing that. And I tried for so long and so hard to find a fully remote position that was going to give me the hours and the pay that I needed. And unfortunately, like so many of them are scams, which really sucks. A lot of the job hunting websites need to do a much better job in the future of vetting the places that are posting jobs because so so many of them are scams. They're fake, they're either MLMs or something, or they're just not real jobs at all. It's just companies posting fake jobs and to basically scare their employees. There's actually been a bunch of people who worked in higher HR who have been kind of blowing the dog whistle on that over the past few years because a lot of people who are like millennial and Gen Z, especially ages who haven't really had the opportunity to stay with one job for a long period of time, were like, what's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? I have applied to like 200 full-time jobs. I have good qualifications. Everyone that I've talked to said my resume is fantastic. Why am I not getting jobs? And these people who now don't work for these big companies, but work for a lot of the big companies you see on like Indeed and ZipRecruiter and stuff, sat down one day and were like, yeah, so I worked in like upper management or HR for these companies, and they are deliberately filling those websites with fake full-time jobs. And it's gross because people are desperate right now. But the reason they're doing it is they are short-staffed. They know that their employees are on the verge of taking off because they can't handle the pressure anymore, and they want to retain them, but they don't want to have to put more money into recruitment. So what they do is they fill places like Indeed and ZipRecruiter with all these fake job postings and say, "Oh yeah, we've got like 4 full-time job postings, guys." And that scares the shit out of their current staff. So they work harder for less pay and understaffed because they don't want to lose their job to somebody else, even though that company has absolutely no intention of hiring anyone new. It's sick. Multiple people from multiple companies have come forward and said that they quit because of these practices, because of how unethical they are. So just a side tangent that it's not you if you're struggling to find a job right now. It's shit like that not being monitored, not being tracked, and no one's suffering any consequences besides maybe getting the boot from that platform and going to another one now. So I was struggling to find something until I finally had this, and I'm working very, very hard. Like, it's literally like a 40-hour a week job. I get up at like 7:30 in the morning every day, and Monday through Friday, I am working nonstop apart from a quick lunch break until maybe 4 or 5. Then I take a break because my wife comes home. I make us dinner. I hang out with her a bit. When she goes to bed, sometimes I do even more work for a few hours. So I'm doing quite a lot right now. I have basically no time to do anything other than work at the moment. And I know there's going to be some moments here and there where the workload does lighten up a little bit and I have a little more time to myself than I do right now. But I'm kind of in that phase that a lot of people go into after they get a work promotion where you're like, well, I don't want to backstep. I want to prove that I deserved this promotion. I want to prove that I deserve to be in the job that I currently have. And I also know where I work right now is good about performance appraisals and sitting down once a year saying, here's where maybe you need to like pick up some slack, and here's where you're doing really well. And if you're doing pretty well, you have the opportunity for a pay raise. So that's happening. On top of that, I want to continue to work really hard because all my wife has ever wanted to do is have a job that aligns with a degree that we are still paying off and will be paying off until she's about 40 years old. I don't think that's asking much. All of us were sold the American pipe dream. Go to school, get good grades, go to college, and if you get a degree, you're going to magically be able to have the job of your dreams and it's going to pay for your entire lifestyle and you'll be happy the rest of your life. And we were all sold a lie, as many of us know now. She's like, if I've had to pay my entire life and miss out on opportunities with like hanging out with my friends, going on family vacations because I was paying these student loans, I'd actually like to use that degree or whatever job I have. And her degree is in graphic design. She went to college for arts and basically advertisement and marketing. And she hasn't gotten to use that degree for anything yet. So she's working really hard. This is the first time since we met that we actually have a dual income coming into the household. So what I told her is, listen, let's try to have you stick it out for at least another year to 2 years at your current company to have that dual income, because the dual income is really helping us to finally have a savings account. In a couple of years, we should have more than enough in the savings account that she can finally quit the 9 to 5 life and dedicate more of her time on her degree, having a job that aligns with her degree. So our plan right now is spend 1 to 2 years with the dual income, buff up the savings account, and at the end of that 2 years, we look at the savings account, see how it looks, make sure our debts are paid, anyone we owe money to and stuff. And beyond that, I told her, you can quit your 9 to 5 so long as you have filled every single month with a convention. I want her to have at least one convention every single month. And she said she believes she can do it, and I believe she can do it. Because the thing is, I'd like to still have that extra money coming into my household. I mean, especially with the fact that inflation is showing no signs of stopping or slowing down anytime soon. I need to make up where that secondary income is going to be lacking. And we've talked to friends who used to solely pay all of their bills off of Comic Cons. They told us what size of Comic Con we need. They told us how many per month we need to do it full time. I will still be able to do my job from conventions. Um, I just, have to unfortunately take days off sometimes if I'm busy elsewhere because I have to sit here emailing and calling people all day for my job. It's not like how it used to be with the marketing only. I'm now marketing and sales, which means I'm filling up the social media. I'm writing a newsletter every couple weeks. I am writing back to people on social media for this company. I'm also writing cold emails, responding to a bunch of emails and calling those people who are actually interested in working with our company, explaining all aspects of the business and who in upper management they need to talk to if they want to stick on with us. So that is a lot of stuff going on my plate right now. So hopefully that's kind of helping you understand part of why I haven't been making videos lately. The other, which kind of goes along with it being Pride Month right now, is a little more unfortunate, which is that my gender dysphoria is the highest it has ever been in my entire life right now. It's rough and it is weighing on me hard. And there's a lot that's going into me feeling this way. It's not like one singular thing has led me to feeling this bad about myself or this down. It's an amalgamation of stuff. One of them just being the fact that I was the first person in my friend group to ever come out as existing under the trans umbrella. It inspired any of the rest of them that were trans or non-binary to come out afterwards because they felt safer after I, took that initial plunge, so to speak. And a lot of them then started socially transitioning. And now all of them have medically transitioned. They're all either on hormone therapy or they've had their surgeries and stuff. And I have had absolutely no gender affirming care whatsoever because unfortunately, I am also the poorest out of my friends group. And I reached a point sometime last year where I was finally like, I need to start really looking into this because I can't keep getting older and older every year with no progress on that, life journey for myself. I'm gonna get depressed again and I don't want to go back to having depression. So I was looking into it and God, it's expensive. Even with the dual income right now, it's so expensive. It's like $150 per session to get therapy in my area. I'm trying to look at some like telehealth type stuff, but I also would prefer that my therapist be someone who is non-binary or in some way gender non-conforming because they understand on a better level than even other therapists that are LGBTQIA2S because they've lived through it. And I did find some. Now I'm just trying to save enough money to get my sessions because the thing is, I haven't been in therapy in a very long time, over a decade. I don't know how frequently this person is going to want to see me. I'm basically fine, mentally for the most part. I just need some you need to have a therapist to get any kind of gender affirming care in this country. It's stupid that it is ultimately up to someone you don't know, but that's just how it is. If I ever want hormone replacement therapy, if I ever want any kind of surgery, if I want anything like that, I have to have a therapist who signs off on it and says, yes, this is medically necessary for this person. It sucks, but it's just the reality. So I need to find a therapist. So that's on the roster, but like I said, I have to save a lot of money to get that. Eventually, I do want some surgery. I do. I want surgery. It's the only way I'm gonna fully be able to be happy with myself. I cannot live anymore with certain parts of my body. I hate showering. I hate getting dressed and undressed. I don't even want my wife to walk in on me getting dressed or undressed anymore because of the fact that it just feels like something's there that shouldn't be there and it makes me uncomfortable. And it's so difficult to explain to people who do not exist under the trans umbrella how kind of, I guess, horrifying. It's like watching a sci-fi movie every time you have to, get dressed for the day because you're like, why are these alien parts that don't belong on me? Why are they here? Why can't I get rid of them? Why do I have to jump through so many hoops to get rid of them? I know my body. I'm an adult. I know what I need for my gender affirming care. And then on top of that, we have all these bullshit laws that keep on getting drafted or passed, and way too many people are either totally fine with anti-trans laws being drafted or passed, or they claim to be allies, but they're not speaking up in any way that makes a difference. Like you calling me personally and saying, I'm so sorry that another horrible law has been drafted might be a nice gesture, but in no way does it help my community. You need to be posting that shit on your social media. Who cares if you lose friends? Those people suck. They don't care if people like me are hurting or dying right now. And you need to be emailing legislators and stuff and being like, yo, what is your problem? Especially Democrats, because we know it's mostly Republicans that hate the trans community, but Democrats are not doing much better lately because a lot of them are just rolling over because they're so shit scared of the Republican Party that they might claim that they support the trans community, but they're not putting their money where their mouth is. They're not proving it with their actions, and they need to start doing a better job of that soon. Sooner than later, please, before all of our rights are gone. It's becoming basically impossible for any of us to leave the country. Now, I know that the passport stuff is being challenged, and that's wonderful. I'm glad someone's fighting for that for us. But it's still kind of scary to get a passport because it's like, what if you get just the wrong person right now? And they want to cause a problem. They want to cause a scene. On top of that, I don't know how many of you are aware of this who watch my channel, but when people are coming into the US or leaving the US right now, they are checking our phones. If they find anything on your phone that they think makes you an enemy of the president, they are detaining you and not allowing you here. Even if this is your home country, even if this is where you live and where you're a citizen of, you are just barred from entry. That is fucking terrifying. Because I have people in my life here that it's going to be difficult to leave behind if I'm able to get out one day. It's not as easy as people make it out to be. Not only is it expensive to get out of this country if you don't feel safe here, but I'd be leaving people in my family who actually are strong allies and supporters who don't deserve to lose all contact with me, who don't deserve to be stuck here. They don't deserve to be stuck here in this mess without support. I'm going to be leaving behind other trans friends that are already constantly on the verge of suicide as it is, and this will probably push them over the edge, losing somebody that actually gives a shit about them. But I can't imagine the amount of money it will take to get myself, my wife, and other people out of here. So there's all that shit. And then on top of it, now there's this dumbass talking point that comes up, it seems like every fucking Pride Month, where we should be celebrating each other and coming together as a community to support each other. But instead, we find reasons to knock each other down. And I swear, it's been like 3 years in a row that someone brings up, can you be a male lesbian? Can you be a trans man lesbian? Can you be a trans masc lesbian? And everyone starts fucking fighting about it. And then I have to sit here and watch even some of the largest YouTube content creators in the trans community fighting over it. And one of which, I'm not naming names, recently made a video where they were basically like, well, if you are a trans man or a trans masc and you don't want to be mistaken for a lesbian, maybe you need to do a better job at, you know, affirming your gender on the outside. That is such a regressive way of looking at this, and it's a classist way of looking at this. So basically, this creator was saying if you're upset that you are a trans man or a trans masc person and people are mistaking you for being a lesbian, that is 100% your fault because you're not doing a good enough job passing. What the hell happened to passing isn't supposed to be like the highest form of being trans? It doesn't matter if you pass or not. It's who you are on the inside that counts. If you say you're trans, and that's all that matters. That's apparently gone out the window with this argument now, and it sucks because I have been clocked for both. I've been clocked as a man, I've been clocked as a woman, I've been clocked as something in between, and people aren't really sure, depending on the day and how much energy I have to put into how I look that day. And you're telling me then that because I cannot afford to get the gender affirming care that I need to be happy in my life, that it is my fucking fault if people think I'm a lesbian, fuck you. If you are someone who is a trans man or trans mask and maybe you like aren't interested in bottom surgery or something, so you want to be referred to as a lesbian, that is entirely fine and I have no problem with that whatsoever. Labels, I think people put too much stock into. They're there to help you understand who you are better so that your life can improve. They're there for you to help find your community so you're not as alone. They're not there for people to police who you are. And I'm tired of them being used for that. I'm tired of people demanding that you use the labels they think fit you best. That's none of their business. I'm tired of people doing shit like this where it's like, well, I'm somebody who is like a he, they, and I don't want people thinking of me as a lesbian because that feels very dysphoric for me and it makes me hate myself. But if somebody else is fine with it, I don't care. I have no problem with that whatsoever. It's like the bi versus pan thing. It's just stupid and again regressive. Stop worrying about that shit. But all this stuff and more has kind of accumulated into me having really bad dysphoria lately. And it's tough because when I'm making YouTube videos, I want to present myself in a certain way. I kind of started this channel on me being a goth. I want to continue it on that. That's always going to be a strong part of who I am and a strong interest of mine. But now I'm kind of trying to figure myself out because I want to look the part without accidentally getting clocked, essentially. So, step one, I actually found a place that is a registered gender affirming hairstylist in my area. They're 20 minutes from my house, and at some point in July, I'm planning on getting my very first gender affirming haircut. I am what I call nerve sighted about this. I'm very excited, but I'm also very nervous because this is my first step. This is a huge leap for me. And after that is done, and I hopefully feel more like myself, I am trying, and I have been trying since April, to better learn how to do goth makeup that is more gender affirming. Because unfortunately, a lot of the goth makeup you find online as examples is very feminine. There's nothing wrong with looking feminine, it's just not what I'm looking for personally for myself. So I'm trying to find more masculine goth makeup. And hopefully those two things together are going to help me a lot more. I've also found men's shapewear. You know how like drag queens will pad their thighs and stuff and like have fake boobs and everything? Men's shapewear kind of does the opposite. Like if it's a guy that happens to have thunder thighs, it helps kind of suck them in so that he feels more like a man and it flattens your chest out more and stuff. So I'm going to be buying some of that. And all of this is like the cheap side of it. And after that, as I've spent a few months over the summer saving some money and everything, hopefully my goal is that by September or October, I'll be able to actually get my gender therapist and start talking more seriously about my gender affirmative journey because, like I said, I do definitely need some more care than I can get right now. But that's essentially why I haven't been making videos lately. Like, 'cause I've had a lot of ideas for videos. There's stuff I want to talk about. It's just hard because I don't look or sound the way that I want to look or sound. And I'm the one who sits here editing my videos all day long, sometimes for days on end, depending on how intricate they are. So I want to be able to look and sound the way that makes me comfortable. Which brings me, by the way, that I'm also looking for like a speech therapist to help me lower the octaves of my voice here and there and stuff. So, yeah, sorry if this is a little bit of a sad one. It's just my reality right now, and I wanted to share that with you guys so you understand where I am and what's been going on with me. And hopefully, if you've been going through something similar, you feel a little less alone now.